I'm a builder, contractor. I also do architectural design work in the airport. Didn't go to the white man school for that. Learned it on my own after being inspired by Garvey. Being inspired by Garvey because it says we nation builders. Okay, and that has been our foundation. Economics. Alchemy and economics go together. Our system is very simple. Most of us eat. I think all of us. It's very simple. If you don't produce food, you have to buy food. If you have to buy food, that means it's an expenditure. Well, if you have land, you should be producing food. And what you produce now, you stop that expenditure from going out the house and the family. So it's a saving. Now that's income coming in. And if you produce enough, you now have enough to sell or exchange. So we've transformed an expenditure into an income. So now we're practicing alchemy. That's our alchemy. We into this mystic thing and all that. You know, we turn the black land into gold in our pocket. Simple as that. Okay, we also do it in the construction area. All right, we train our young people. We train them in civilization building skills. The two first civilization building skills, as far as we're concerned, is first being able to provide food for yourself, and second, making sure you can provide shelter for yourselves. And you can't do that without a land. We want to create our own laws. We want to design our own house. And we don't want to live in the house and nobody design or build for us. That way we make the rules, we make the policies. Simple as that. If you can't do that, just get out the house. Or get off the land. Okay? Because we have to reclaim what is ours. We have to start doing it by wherever we are. Drop your bucket where you're there, as our mothers and fathers always tell us. So that's where we start. So we are not into the talk business too much. We do talk, but we can't talk. They say farmers are some of the greatest philosophers in the world. I just want you to know that we're a team. Marcus Garvey has been one of the greatest inspirations in our lives. Why we started the PerAnkh was for the simple reason of what he said when he looked around. He didn't see his builders and his men of great business and his ambassadors and his governors and his kings and queens. And in our study we found that that's what the PerAnkh does. The PerAnkh in ancient time was responsible for educating the architects, the engineers, the builders, the masons, the kings, the queens, the priests, the priestesses. We understand? Okay? And we have also learned that this concept of humility and respect didn't start someplace in Japan or China or them places, or in India, but it comes directly out of Africa. In our school with Dr. Bennett and the things we've been involved with, you gotta respect the elders, first and foremost. Have to respect the elders. The mistress and master of the house must always be respected, such as the master, the speaker, the mistress, whomever is here. When they say something, we listen. Okay? This concept of democracy, but in nature has no everybody come and have an opinion. When a hurricane comes, you can pray all you want. You can pray all you want. If a hurricane gonna pass, it's gonna pass. I don't care how much you pray. We experienced that. Hurricane 250 miles per hour wind. And I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed and everybody was praying. Because when you heard that wind sounded like a 747 jet passing, that's all you could do. And I didn't stop it. But nature is not a democracy. Simple as that. We humans decide to live by a democracy. We went to meet the Ghanaian government who had an expose 2004 in Atlanta. And they were out there soliciting entrepreneurs and developers to come to Ghana, to develop Ghana so they could create a new middle class for Ghana. We prepared a letter in 2004 and told them point blank, why you come into the world, even Russia, everybody, and you invited them, and you're inviting us. And where's our land? You Because I'm going to tell you this point blank. How many of us have land? That's what I'm see. Serious. And I'm going to say, the bottom line is land. Land. The bottom line is the land.
That's right, brother.
And what we got to lose, not what we got to lose. What have we lost that we have to regain? We have lost 12 million square miles of land. I don't care who's there now. Some oil companies in the Guinea coast of Africa and some close to Angola. This is statistical research, economic research. In the oil industry, those combined companies are making $250 million a day net profit. $250 million a day, not a week, a month, or a year, but a day. Just think about those revenues. That's a lot of revenues. And that's not staying in Africa. Okay? So that when you start to think about what's happening in Africa, we got to start thinking about the land. That's what we've lost. We've lost 12 million square miles with the richest resources in the world and over 7.68 billion acres of land. How much land do we have? Okay? So that's what we have at stake. The future. When they're talking about renewable energy today, they're looking at the Sahara Desert. Yeah. And they're talking about solar power. That's right. For Europe. That's right. We are not included. They don't talk about Africa. They're not talking about Africa. They said for Europe. So that's why what's going on in Libya, which is the gateway, is the same thing that went on in Yemen. When we were fighting one another between the southern borders before we got together and defended our borders in the northeast and the northern area, we started to fight one another, the Nubians and the Egyptians so-called, right? And what happened? We got conquered. When we lost our power base in that northeast corner, they swarmed in, and they've been swarming in ever since. We call it a decree. We're not asking anybody anything anymore. We're going to challenge you. We don't have a problem with it. We have no fear. Okay? No fear. None whatsoever. We warriors. We have been waiting for ourselves and the time for ourselves to be. Okay? That's why my brother made sure, this brother says, you gotta be here. I left the garden, I left the construction project, and we're here. And we're here to do what we have to do. We gotta raise ourselves up. We got too much at stake. And let me say this to my brothers and sisters. The most powerful force of black people right now on the face of this planet that can really make the impact and change of what Marcus Garvey saw back in 1914, 1950, 1960, when he was coming here to the United States. It's right here in the United States. And we got to stop this bickering amongst ourselves. We need to go to Detroit and find those brothers and sisters who can manufacture cars. Go to San Diego and find those brothers and sisters who can design and build the ships. I was in California, a brother was going to Ethiopia. He says, I'm an aeronautical engineer. I said, oh yeah? Where is the plane that you designed for us to build?
That's right.
You see where I'm coming from? Where's our factories? That's what I looked at it. Where are our ships? Where are our cars? Where are our farms? We don't have no time for bickering. But like I said to my brother, let's get on the land, right? Let's build the factories. Let's feed ourselves. Let's build our businesses, and let's build our nation.
I came into the Caucasian culture at a time when the white man still had a need for the black man's labor. I preached and penetrated the mass black man's consciousness to such a degree that the white man felt threatened by me being capable of commanding so much black time and attention. Whites find it hard to sit idly by and let this black man take their slave labor away, especially back to Africa. Who then would bear the white man's burden? I feel that my blood shall pay that remission for which future generations of our race shall be declared free. Freedom of action, freedom of opportunity are things we need, which I believe can only be gained after we shall have established an imperial power to command the respect of other races and nations. Vile thoughts bring vile actions to vile people living in vile times. You could not tell me in the 1920s that 80 years later the world would be infested with neutron bombs, AIDS, drugs,